Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Round Robin. I am your host, Tracy Preston, and with me is Christine Mulligan, Nina Mulligan, Regina Lindsay, Angela Sinclair, and of course, my husband, Todd Preston. Hey, everyone.
Hi. Hiya. Hello. Hi.
Hey, everybody.
So, hey, this is our first show since Thanksgiving. So, did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
It was nice and calm in my part of the world.
That's always a
All
good
the
thing.
kids got together and it was nice and chill. Everybody ate like cows and then we just chilled out.
Yeah, same here. It was a nice, relaxing Thanksgiving and lots of food, of course. I even ate my plate in, I didn't do it all in one sitting. I came back, I ate a little bit, came back, felt good, but then when I came back, then I didn't feel good.
You didn't do it in any sitting. You were standing the whole time you were eating.
I was standing. I couldn't squeeze in. We have like what do we call that?
It's a pub table.
We have a pub table, and so at the table was Todd's parents, my mom, Haley, Harry, and we just had a pub table. So I'm like, oh yeah, I can squeeze in this little spot. Hell no, I wasn't bitten. So needless to say, my feet were killing me at the end of the day. I'm like, I've got to sit down. Well, I'm glad everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope everyone listening had a happy Thanksgiving as well. All right, so let's get down to business. So in today's episode, we will be discussing the story we did from season 3 on Jessica Heeringa. So Jeffrey Thomas Willis was a horrible man. And so one night Jessica was working at a gas station, an EXXON gas station in Norton Shores. And on April 26, 2013, she was the only one working at night. Now, I find this absolutely bonkers. This girl worked by herself all night long in a gas station. I just find that absolutely crazy and completely unsafe. And apparently this guy, Jeff, was watching her, stalking her, stopping into the store, buying things, had receipts with Jessica's name on it. So he took her from work. She never came home. And still to this day, her body has never been recovered, which is just horrible for her family. Another of Jeffrey's victims was a Rebecca Bletch. She was 36 years old. She had gone for a jog on May 25th, 2016, when it is presumed that Jeff tried to give her a ride. She more than likely said, deuces, and he wasn't having it, and he shot her in the back of the head and then got out and shot her 2 more times. And then there was another girl who had gone to a party. She was a 16-year-old girl, didn't take her cell phone, which is hard to even believe, but she was at a party all night, got up the next morning, and she had to actually walk home. She didn't have a ride, she didn't have a phone, and here comes Jeff trying to pick her up. She did take the ride, and he said he had a phone, started driving, and then when she asked for the phone, he's like, yeah, no, my phone's dead. And instead pulled out a gun, and at that moment, thank God for her, she jumped out of the car, tucked and rolled it, and started hauling ass down the street. And as he was at the back of the van now pointing that quote-unquote fake gun, he was saying, oh, it wasn't real. Meanwhile, he's trying to fire, and it's misfiring. So he's ejecting, what do you call them, casings? They're not casings, bullets, rounds.
Yep.
Right, so, and it is this young girl, Madison Nygaard, who, thank God she got away, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think he'd be caught until he messed up again down the road, and then of course there'd be another victim. So, also one of the other good things that came out of this horrible crime was the family of Rebecca Bletch. They were the ones who were able to get a law passed called the Rebecca Bletch Law, and that's the law that makes convicted people, predators, what do I want to call them? That's not the word I want.
Sexual offenders. Criminals.
No, yeah, there's, right. So once someone has been convicted, right, that they have to listen to the impact statement. So if you guys remember when this happened, when it was time for impact statements, you know, he's asking the judge, like, do I have to be here? Can I skedaddle? Because I don't really want to listen to this. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing that says that you have to stay here. Well, Rebecca's family wasn't having that, and we can thank them for it. They had this law passed in, it was March 9th, 2018, that the bill passed the Michigan House of Representatives. That requires the convicted defendant, that's the word I was looking for, to listen to the victim impact statements. Something else I found too, when I was just doing a little bit of extra digging around, is that the family of Jessica were trying to pass the Jessica Heeringa Act, and it still hasn't passed. They tried doing that December 9th, 2013. And this bill would require gas stations and convenience stores that are open between the hours of 11 and 5 a.m. to install and maintain security camera systems, or to have at least 2 employees working together during the shift of those hours. And I still just can't even believe that that didn't get passed. And it seems like the reason why is because, you know, the owners of these types of places were complaining of the cost. It can't be that much.
It can't be that much.
Please. So anyway, that was just a super quick recap of the horrible crimes that Jeffrey Thomas Willis committed. And I'll bet there's more that we just haven't heard about, or people haven't found. In fact, I found there was a 15-year-old girl that lived in Fruitport, Michigan, who attended high school there. And he is a suspect in her murder. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. I was like, oh, wait, hold on, what is this? And her name is Angela Marie Thornburg. And her body was found partially clothed and found by a hunter on October 17th, 1996. So the first one that we know of was Jessica, and that was in 2013. And also I found out that Jeffrey used to work at the high school in Freeport for only about a year between 1998 and 1999. But he got fired because he was using computers for the kids to look at porn. So, classy.
Real winner.
Yep.
Well, I just want to mention, you did say about how, you know, she was the only one in the gas station. I find that, of course, as a feminist, I'm going to say it's not the fact that it was a single employee as a girl that was there. That's not the problem. The problem is that there's a single person there at all. And I don't understand why they're having a hard time forcing companies to do that. Like, I would imagine that would go along with all the other safety OSHA kind of rules that we have in place for workplaces. Like, to provide a safe work environment, how is it safe for any one person to be in any facility for 8 to 10 hours by themselves? Like, what if she slipped and fell? Who's there to call for help?
Right.
You know, not for the malice kind of stuff. For everyday working conditions. I find that hard to believe that that's not a safety issue.
Exactly, and especially, right, in those hours of the night. You have just strangers coming in all hours of the night. And Todd and I actually watched some crime show where it was a man that was working by himself. Remember that woman that came in and, like, she had been in the store earlier, like, she had it all. She was going to kill this guy and rob the store, specifically because he was working alone. And that's what she did. She went into that's what it was. She went into the bathroom, got changed, walked in with a hoodie, got changed, had the hoodie still over, and she brutally murdered this guy.
Yeah, and then they had a security camera, and while she was killing him, she even knelt down to whisper something into his ear, which was quite chilling to see.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and they luckily did have video cameras. So I agree. It's not right for someone to be working alone in a place that people can just walk right on in. And, you know, and if you're not, and I don't even think they have these now in gas stations or convenience stores where these people, like, there might be a nice big thick piece of plexiglass up front, but it's not like they're locked in.
Right.
Like if I was going to work them, I'm like, no. I want 4 walls, 2-inch thick bulletproof glass, a deadbolt lock, all that. That's the only way I'd do it.
And red emergency buttons everywhere.
The easy alarm button. Bam! Absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's all that uncommon. I mean, especially here in Texas. And Christine and Tracy, you know that the vascular center that I was working in is not in a great part of town. And there in the last year, in that just the gas station across the highway from the center, literally half a block away, there have been 3 murders there in the last year. And always in the wee hours of the morning, like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, there was the gas station attendant was murdered during a robbery. There was a taco truck that was parked in the parking lot, and that employee that was there alone was robbed and murdered. And then there was a woman that was shot and killed there while getting gas in the middle of the night. So, yeah, you would think that, I don't know, during a robbery, if having 2 people in the store would make that huge of a difference, but there is a little bit more safety in numbers. At least maybe one of them could manage to call 911, or maybe it would be more of a deterrent, I guess. But yeah, it's really scary to me, the idea of someone working overnight in that kind of a situation where people, again, are just walking in and out and have easy access. It does make it definitely easier for them to be victims.
Yeah, agreed. And those hours, those are the witching hours. Nothing good is going to happen at that time of night. Nothing. The other thing that I saw, so if you guys remember I want to back up a sec. I can't remember the name of the woman, but she was like the owner or co-owner or something. But around the time that this happened, and I bet this woman and her husband just feel horrible, but they were out on a motorcycle ride. They knew, of course, Jessica was working alone. Going by there, now this woman knew that there were no scheduled deliveries to be happening, and she kind of saw Jeffrey, in my opinion, right? He pulled around to the back, and so they pulled over across the street. And I can't for the life of me understand why, if you were concerned for a minute, you knew this girl was alone, and you see this van, this minivan pull up behind in the back of the store, and you're just going to sit across the street and wait. Then she said and she told police this, that, a few minutes later, they saw the back of the van open up, looked like he put something in it, closed the van, and left. They were like, oh, okay, everything's cool.
Right.
Like, what in the hell? You could have saved this girl and these other girls at that point.
Yeah, their excuse was that they thought that she was stealing from the store. But if you're managing the store, then why do you not march your ass in there and find out what the hell's going on instead of ignoring it and driving off?
Yeah. Or right, how about, okay, they're gone, let's go look. I mean, you're with your husband. The 2 of you couldn't pull in back there? Like, what are you so scared of?
Right.
That really drove me nuts.
Or at least call the store, right?
Right.
Call the store number and say, hey, is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
If an employee is stealing, at least maybe that's enough of a deterrent for them to be like, oh, shit, somebody was watching.
They saw a small smear of blood there. And, so I'm thinking, what did this guy do? Did he, just punch her and knock her out and throw her in the van? I mean, she was just kind of a little thing, and Jeffrey at the time was kind of a big dude, meaning he was a little bit on the tall side.
Did they determine it was her blood then? The smear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then also the cousin of Jeff, Kevin Blum. Now, get this, you guys. He was a former Michigan Department of Corrections prison guard. He had 2 different jobs. And in fact, so he was working at one place and he was fired from there for whatever reason. And then during the time when Jeff called Kevin to say, hey, come on over, I need some help. He gets there, he sees Jessica in the basement of his grandfather's house. So Jeffrey was real close with his grandfather. His grandfather passed, and he had left the house to Jeffrey, I believe. And so it was in the basement where, Kevin walks down there and sees this girl naked, hands tied behind her back. Jeff kind of confessed of kind of everything he did to her, raped her, used a bunch of god-awful devices on her as well. Now here's this guy, he's working as, he's supposed to be, a respectable guy. He's working in the Department of Corrections as a prison guard. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'll help you. Let's go. Let's wrap her up. Let's go bury her.
Yeah, like he had no issues with it. Sure, yeah, we're family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is one of those bad prison guards. I guess if you're in prison, you want this dude to be your guard. Bringing all kinds of shit for you, let you get away with all kinds of stuff. I just found that quite appalling. And, at the time that, all this happened, he was working in another prison. And this guy got off. Now, granted, he spent some time in jail while, all this is going down. He was arrested, admitted to all this kind of stuff. But they gave him time served, and then they gave him 5 years probation.
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous. Agreed.
Yep.
It's absolutely shocking.
Wait, that's what he got for disposing of a body?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There was never a body found.
Yeah.
They couldn't prove it.
Right. And that's the other thing I think of, right? It's like, okay, you and Jeff buried. Now, he said the hole was already dug. So this is way pre-planned on Jeffrey's part whenever he dug the damn hole. But so they buried her, and then Jeff goes back out and moves her? Like, where in the heck did he, what?
Well, that's not unheard of. I mean, look at how many cases we've talked about where they go back and move the body several times sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right. And I think this dude was into some necrophilia as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was watching
For sure.
the videos like that and stuff, wasn't he? One of the porn videos he was watching involved necrophilia?
Yeah, exactly. So there was tons and tons of porn that they found at this guy's house when they, kind of raided his house, tucked him into all different kinds of things, like I think like in a heating vent or something, like behind the couch, and tons of videos where the MO of these videos was rape, torture, and kill. And in fact, one of the videos that he had that the police found was a video of a jogger.
Yeah.
Right? So with Rebecca Bletch, I feel like he was trying to live out that fantasy. I mean, I don't know what it is that makes people fantasize to want to be this type of a killer or killer, period. So, but, kind of reading back through some things, like initially when we did the show, it was like, oh, he was into porn because him and his wife weren't having any sex. But it's like, dude, you've been watching porn and you have such an addiction that you have to watch it when you're at work on a child's computer that children will be using.
Yeah.
That stuff pops up.
But he was also filming those girls too at school, at like their swim meets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he was being a predator at that school.
Yeah. Thank God he only worked there for a year. I mean, this is the worst kind of person you want working in your school.
They didn't ever find any of his bodies, did they?
The only one they found was Rebecca because he left her on the side of the road. Now, there's that other 15-year-old girl in Fruitport. Now, that was long before Jessica. She was 2013. And this young lady was found October 17th of 1996. So I think definitely he had gotten away with quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got multiple murders that we don't even know about. That's the insane part of this guy and a lot of the people that we talk about, is if they did, and we know of the few, then imagine how many more there potentially are. That's insane.
It is insane.
Yeah, I think you and Christine talked about that too when we did the episode about how he definitely probably has more victims that he had murdered.
Well, the one thing that tied these three cases together was the .22, his gun, right? So maybe, I'm sure there's going to be ongoing investigations. Maybe they can connect the dots on some other ones still.
Yeah.
Not only that, but got him with the files that he had in the computer. Like, they were labeled with their initials, the death dates. And then there were pictures on there of them and other girls that looked like them. And that is crazy.
Right, and what a good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Angela, because I forgot about that, because that is exactly what we said in the show, was that they were girls that looked like these girls. So wouldn't that be nice if they were still looking? I mean, the guy's in prison, but still, for the families, it would be some form of closing that chapter, at least. All right, the guy who did this to our daughter has been caught, or he's, rotting in a cell somewhere. And the other
How old would he have been in 1996?
how old was he in 1996? Oh,
Yeah.
geez, I don't know. Let me see if I can find something real quick.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that there's a snowball's chance in hell that he went from 1996 to 2013 without murdering somebody else.
Right.
People like that don't just stop unless they're incarcerated or unless they die.
Yeah, they're going to keep on doing it.
The thing about this guy is that he was really proficient in getting rid of bodies, obviously, for the exception of the girl that he shot on the street. And that was really only because wasn't there someone else like kind of around or that interrupted that process?
Which
Like,
one?
the one that he shot on the street and then came up and shot her at point blank range and shot her again? Didn't someone else pull up, or didn't someone else interrupt that?
No, what happened is he got away with that shit scot-free. What you're thinking about is the couple that were driving on the road. They thought it was a dead animal in the road, like maybe a dog or something. And when they got a little bit closer, they were like, holy shit, this is a person, and they're hurt really bad. And so they called 911, and the woman was a nurse. And then, once they saw, like, oh my gosh, like, we've got some serious head trauma, she was checking for pulse and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, you got to flip this girl over and do chest compressions. And she was kind of like, I don't want to do it because we've got some serious head injury. Initially, they thought that this girl got hit by a car, but then on the side of the road were neatly piled her glasses and her, I don't know if it was a Walkman, or at that time, I think Walkmans were still kind of big, no? In the 90s? Wait, that was 2014. Yeah. So whatever it was she was listening to, her earbuds, all that were on the side of the road. So no, nobody had seen anything. It was perfect timing for him.
He was born in 1970.
Oh, God, he's my age. So, okay. So what was your question in 1996? You want to know how old he was?
Yeah, how old was he in
26.
There we go. 26 years old.
Yeah, I find it weird that he would wait that long in between times, and but the gun. So that's kind of weird, unless the gun belonged to somebody else before him.
So I just came across this. So the retired Norton Shores Police Department, he was the lead detective on this case. Now, this was back in 23, so I'm assuming they still haven't found her, right? But he thinks that she is out in Manistee, buried out in the National Forest somewhere, because Jeffrey would go out there frequently to go hunting and stuff. Now, that's a vast area of land, so it would practically be impractical to find anything out there. But one of the things that kind of tipped him off that would probably be the case, because Jeff was taking time off on several occasions when it wasn't hunting season, probably to revisit or to rebury and move her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That makes sense because they found the other girl in a wooded area, correct? Like it was a hunter out there?
Yes.
The one that you just read about?
Yep.
That would make sense then.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that got my blood boiling, because I was watching, I love Court TV, I can find so much stuff on there, is that, of course, when he was able to leave, as he's walking out, he's about through, the doorway there, and he turns around and looks at the families and blew him a kiss. I felt like I was going to come out of my skin.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't even believe it. It's like, what a jerk. What a jerk.
Pure evil.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's one of the really sad things about, I mean, the really heartbreaking things about it is Jessica's family is still holding on to hope that she's still alive because her body hasn't been found. And at some point, it's bound to happen. You're going to come to the realization and deal with it. But who's to say when that point is,
Yeah, when do you ever let go as a parent, right? You never want to let go. And Christine and I talked about that in the show. It's like, I'm still going to hold on to hope until I got a body, but it's like, I don't know. And I said this in the show as well. It's like this girl would come home if she could, right? She had a 3-year-old son.
Yep.
Just horrible. I don't think I have much more about this guy. But, we did drop a new show today, Officer Maraska, right? And so that was written by my neighbor, Rebecca. And so hopefully we'll get her dad on the show because he was one of the police officers that was dealing with all that. So I'm really, 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 really hoping. She's like, well, Dad's kind of concerned. He doesn't know much about computers. I'm like, all Dad's got to do is take a call.
Yeah.
We'll handle the rest. So I'll keep you guys posted. It won't be until season 5, which is a hop, skip, and a jump around the corner. But I'll definitely let you guys know because we definitely want to have some questions ready for this man. So that'd be cool. And we have another announcement to make, don't we, hon?
We sure do.
You want to take it away?
Yeah, so we're going to start a new segment. It's going to be on Fridays, and it's going to be called F-Bomb. And the reason why it's going to be called F-Bomb is because it's going to be about folklore, fiction, fables, and frights, all stories based in Michigan. And just to give you a couple clues, there's some Bigfoot stories and ghost stories and stuff like that. So it's going to be cool.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be
That's awesome.
yeah. So Todd and I are going to do that on Fridays. It's not going to be like an hour-long show. It might be a 20-minute show, 30-minute show here and there, but something Todd's been wanting to do, and a lot of people like that kind of stuff. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I've got a fan that I see from time to time. And I kind of talked it over with him, and he's like, "Oh man, I can't wait. You got to let me know."
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So that's actually going to start, let's see. That first show is going to be December 20th. So F-Bomb Fridays.
F-Bomb Fridays.
F-Bomb Fridays.
I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. After this episode, we only have 2 more, and we are into season 5. It's just flying. Well, does anybody have anything else they want to chime in about, Mr. Jeffrey Willis?
I was just going to say, no, I would like for his body to disappear and for no one to ever hear from him again. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, short episode today, which is fine. It's less editing for me. Boop, bop, boop. Show is done.
Well, I don't really have much to say about this guy. I think he got away with murder multiple times over, but thankfully he got convicted for the few. So, yay for that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, there won't be any more murders by him.
Exactly. There's plenty more out there. We just got to get them all in prison. So, all right, everyone. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you for a great show. And we will see you all back on Monday for Malice Monday. So have a great week, everyone. Bye.
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 See ya.
Good night, everyone.